Hey everybody, it is Nikki with Delicate Tension Tarot. Thank you for tuning in and joining in. If you do enjoy this channel, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. That is all part of building a channel, right? Brain fart already, straight out of the gate. This is going to be a reading for the sign of Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, or if you just have a lot of Pisces energy in your chart. That could apply to anything from your North Node to your Venus, whatever it may be. Yep. Sorry, I've already been doing videos for a while today, so now I'm just starting to get into that spacey place. Yeah, sorry that I haven't been keeping up with videos. Obviously, we have a lot going on in the world right now, which has put me in a position of, not necessarily having work. So now I can dedicate more time to this. Oh yeah, just launched my new website. It is going to be in the description box below. Please go there if you would like to book a reading with me. No more having to go through emails and stuff. It's just going to be straight to the point. There's also a link to my Instagram through there to look at daily card pulls and my weekly pick a card readings. So it's much more interactive. It's kind of like a choose your own adventure. And then I'm going to start putting the decks I used down in the description box below as well, and the links to go support those people, because most of them are independent artists and small business owners that are definitely being impacted at this time. Aren't we all? And with that being said, I hope that this finds you well. I hope many of you are staying inside right now, and just taking care of yourselves and taking care of each other. I do think that with Saturn transiting into Aquarius, this is a really impactful time for us to start focusing on not simply the needs of our selfish, ego-driven selves, but to start really focusing on each other and community and more humanitarian efforts, and to see what it is that does need to change within our societies and the way that we operate or cooperate with each other. Saturn will be in Aquarius for about 3 months, and then it's going to retrograde back into Capricorn until the end of the year. And I believe Pluto is going to be retrograde during that time period as well. So we're going to have a lot of stuff coming to the surface, especially in the realms of death, sex, other people's money. I feel like it could be demented in the sexual realm of like issues that we could be finding out some really fucked up things about certain people. I definitely think there's going to be a lot of exposure that's going to be uncomfortable about people in positions of power. I'm definitely not necessarily on the QAnon train, but do I think there's jacked up stuff that goes on in the world? Absolutely. And I don't even think it's like that saying of like truth is stranger than fiction, because it is. And I am one of those people that believes that anything and everything is absolutely possible. The likelihood of it is where I start arguing a little bit. So yeah, now that I'm done ranting, let's get started with your reading. Let's see what's happening for Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. What is going on for Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus? We have the Five of Swords. There could be a lot of challenges in your life right now. There could be some conflict. There could have been some communication that you had recently that, why are you shutting yourself off from people? I feel like that's what it is. I feel like with the Five of Swords, that's what it is. You're shutting yourself off from people. There's something here to do with choices, and there's something here to do with pain. If you are distancing yourself from people, and if you're doing it in this way because of the fact that you feel like you need to heal from some things that have transpired in your life, totally understandable. But with Five of Swords energy, sometimes it's a little vindictive. It's more so about I'm hurt, so I'm going to hurt you. And it can be conscious or it can be subconscious. With Five of Swords, it's a little more conscious than not. And if this is not you, this could be somebody else, but there just is this essence of you kind of being, you want to pull back right now. I think that you want to pull back. I think that you feel very alone. That could also be adding some challenge and some mental conflict in your life. You could be feeling very alone. Let's see what's blocking you here. What's blocking Pisces? We have Judgment. There's a lot happening around you. There's a lot of decisions that have been made that have been out of your control. There's a lot of things that have happened that have been out of your control. But with the Judgment card, it's kind of like Judgment and the Tower to me are very similar in tarot because they are cards about something outside of ourselves that comes in and it dictates change for us, especially if we were not willing to make certain changes. It comes in and it says, hey, guess what? That thing you haven't been looking at for a while, well, we're going to make some shit happen in your life. So now you have to think about it, you have to face it, and you have to overcome it. And with Judgment blocking you, you're resisting something. There's something happening that's coming to an end in your life, or there's something that is trying to be revived that you're resisting. And that being in your challenge, my advice to you on that, before I even go any further, is going to be let it happen. When you resist these things, trust me when I say that they come and they hit you even harder within certain time periods. That's personal experience right there. I feel like that was a lot of my life. A lot of my life was resistance. And as soon as I gave in and as soon as I really allowed myself to push through those difficulties and really heal the things that I was running away from for most of my life changed. And it's not, the healing is never done. We never get done healing. There's still plenty of things in my life that I have a really hard time with. But life will help you if you allow it. So let's see what's happening in Pisces subconscious sector here. We have the Hanged Man in reverse. And we have the Artist. That's actually a really beautiful card for you, especially since Piscean people, water signs in general, certain fire signs too. This is a time for you to create the life that you want for yourself. Whether or not that is on an individual basis, this does feel like it's very solo right now. I don't see a partnership here. I don't see you being connected to anybody. I actually see you resisting people right now. But this is an opportunity for you to I feel like you feel it. I feel like you've had some awareness come through lately. I feel like you understand what it is that needs to change. But I think it's like you're still in the dreaming mode. You're not necessarily fully going into action yet. It's kind of like you get bits and pieces here and you kind of, you'll start following it and then you'll get sidetracked again. But I feel like right now there is this essence in your subconscious that's really urging you to follow what it is that you're desiring out of your life. You could also be more artistically creative at this time. You could feel more drawn to literally be artistic or create something with your hands or conjure up a new idea. I definitely think your perspective is changing. Let's see what happened in the recent past here. The moon just came out in reverse, so I do feel like your perspective is changing. You're definitely, you're not caught in illusions as much as you once were, or fantasy. I think the reality is starting to hit you, which can be a little uncomfortable for you guys because you guys thrive in fantasy. And when reality kind of smacks you in the face, it can be pretty brutal. Let's see what's happened in the recent past here. And when I say that, that's primarily for people who have heavy water and heavy air in their chart. When it comes to Piscean people who have a mixture of water and earth, it's easier for you guys to deal with reality. There's a nice balance there. But if you're somebody who has water and air, there's major escapism that you guys deal with. Let's see what happened in the recent past here for Pisces. The Sun in reverse. Whenever I see that, that is challenge. That's literally, it can be the sun setting on a certain area of your life, or it's very gloomy. It's not, you don't feel illuminated. You can't see clearly. You don't feel like you have freedom in your life. You feel like there are things that are kind of trapping you or bogging you down. So in the past, you might have been dealing with a lot of unexpected issues or conflict or just bad news. And there were a lot of endings that took place in your life. Like I said, when I think of the sun is going down. And I don't, it's almost like, I don't know if you had anybody in your environment with the sunflowers at the bottom. Because with sunflowers, you know, I think of when the sun goes down, when there is no longer sunlight, sunflowers will turn to one another and they will emanate energy to one another in order to continue to thrive. And I feel like there even is a space where you didn't feel like you had that. So I feel like you might have even been feeling as if there was nobody in your environment that actually truly understood what you were going through. And if there, you know, if there was, it just was one of those things that maybe you weren't as connected to them as you would like to be. So let's see what's happening in your higher self sector. We have the Ten of Wands. You're definitely getting ready to drop your burdens. You might actually be physically relocating as well. We have the Seven of Swords. I don't necessarily like that energy. And then we have the Page of Swords. So in your higher mind, actually in your higher mind, that's great because it's awareness. There's a lot of baggage that you're carrying, and it might be surrounding ways in which you deceived others or ways in which you were deceiving yourself. There's something here about self-sabotage, and there's something here about quite possibly always putting others' needs before your own, because it's almost like you collect everybody else's stuff and you carry it with you through life. So it's almost like in doing that, you never really got to address what was going on with you. I also just feel like you're thinking a little differently now. Your perception has definitely changed. Whatever happened in the past might have come in and helped change that perspective as well. What's happening in the near future here? We have the Nine of Wands, so there still is a little bit of energy of being defeated or being overwhelmed or possibly just being guarded with all of the changes that have taken place. That character is kind of looking at the Judgment card and at the Sun in reverse as if they're very disappointed and they're not ready. They're not ready for more. They're not ready for more shit to happen in their life, so they're very guarded right now. Let's clarify, or let's add a little more to the Nine of Wands here. We have the Devil. There's a lot of things that you still need to overcome in your life. There's a lot of ways in which, and we have the Knight of Swords. In the future, if you continue resisting this change that's wanting to come in for you, you're going to have a really hard time. There's going to be a lot of anxiety, especially if you continue attaching yourself to old ways of thinking or being. If there's any issues with addiction, if there's any issues of control that you have in your life, whether that's allowing somebody or something else to control you, or feeling as if you have no self-control, it's going to not benefit you. I promise you, it's actually probably going to make things worse in your life. Like I was saying in the beginning about the Judgment card, if you keep resisting what life is attempting to offer and bring you, it will continue pushing stuff onto you until it literally breaks you. And it makes you finally go, okay, like I can't resist this anymore. I have to change. So that's my fair warning there. We still have like the far-reaching outcome and advice that we need to talk about, but near future, that's what can be there if you choose to stay in this energy. Because I think you're still looking in the past and going, man, this is fucked up. Like, how did I deserve all this stuff? I can't deserve another hit. So let's see what's happening in your emotional sector. What's happening in the emotional sector for Pisces, please? We have the King of Cups in reverse. Definitely in. That is your sign right there. Definitely not emotionally paying attention to the new beginning that you have in front of you with the Ace of Pentacles. And we have the World in reverse. There's something in your life that you haven't completed yet. There's either a lesson that you possibly need to revisit from your past, or a person that revolves around working together to create kind of a solid foundation here. But right now you are definitely not in the state of mind in order to do that. You're not doing so hot. I feel like, you know, you could be self-medicating more. You could just be emotionally feeling very overwhelmed. You're just not mentally in a good place. Let's see what's happening around you. What is happening around Pisces in their external environment? We have the Ace of Swords. There's definitely a lot of truth that's coming through around you. Things are being cut out of your life big time. And I think it's things that need to go, and maybe that's what you're resisting. Yep, Wheel of Fortune. That's fate, destiny, change. That is course correction. That is something that you cannot run from. And we have Temperance in reverse, and it's because you're not in a balanced energy, and you haven't been in a balanced energy in some time. And it's almost like you kept mixing the wrong ingredients together, and it's why your life really hasn't merged. Or this could be somebody around you as well. But either way, there's major course correction happening in your life. Let's see what's happening in your hopes and fears. Seven of Pentacles in reverse. You might be afraid that you're never actually going to be able to create anything of value. You might feel like you're always catching up. You might feel like you're always having to start from scratch. And like I was saying, you might have to, or you might have been going through that repetitive cycle because you haven't addressed what needs to be addressed. If you're one of those people who has addressed these things, then this could be somebody around you, or you just need to check out your moon rising or any other important placement in your chart. So let's see what's in the far-reaching outcome and advice. King of Swords in reverse. Don't allow yourself to be dealt another heavy blow, because I think you're about to get a major reality check. We have the Lovers. We have Justice in reverse. Six of Pentacles. And we have the Empress. If you are dealing with significant relationships, it is quite possible that there is somebody who either deserves some form of a reciprocating energy, because this definitely was somebody who gave a lot, and it's time for you to give back to them. But there's some sort of unhealthy relationship that hasn't really brought balance into your life that you keep involving yourself in that needs to be cut out. I mean, it also might even be whatever part of yourself that is not serving you, because we're both made up of, you know, yin and yang, positive, negative, passive, and then active energy. This may be an aspect of yourself that needs to become more in alignment, because there's some part of yourself that feeds into an energy of being very unhealthy, and it keeps derailing you. Yeah, Two of Cups in reverse. There's a significant relationship in your life that needs to go, and I think you know this. And if it's not a significant relationship in your life, then it's a part of yourself. That can be friends, family, lover. So I'm going to go ahead and pull some oracle cards here to see what some additional advice is. You and Aquarius, your energy was pretty cut and dry, so I'm not going to really do clarifiers for you guys. We have change. I'm telling you, do not resist the change that needs to happen in your life. You're being given an opportunity to start off on a whole new slate and to correct errors of the past. You're being given an opportunity to really fix yourself and to really set yourself up for stability. I think it's all about what you're going to do. Abundance. What did I just say? To set yourself up for stability. And then we have Purge, but it requires you letting go of old shit from the past. It could even be letting go of stuff within your current environment that just isn't healthy for you. If you consistently find yourself tied to someone and you're just still struggling, you really need to reassess what that relationship does for you. I always say that love and money go hand in hand. If you find yourself being drained financially when you're with somebody, you need to reassess the relationship, and vice versa. What's another message we have here? Spill the tea, so it's time for the truth to be told. There might be some stuff coming out. Yep, into the void. I think you're going into the unknown on your own. I think it's time for you to really assess where you need to change. That's a lot of cards. And enjoy the silence. Take this time to take care of yourself, to be by yourself, to really look at yourself. Make it permanent, because whatever these changes are that need to happen in your life, they need to be permanent. Do some final 3 cards from the deck of character here. All of these decks will be featured in my description box below if you want to check out everybody's page. I think I said that in the beginning, but I can't remember because I go into a very special place when I start doing readings. They are small business owners. They are indie artists. Support them if you can, if you would like to. Or even just check out their content. We have all the time in the world right now, right? So your first card is Plateau. To me, this is usually an opportunity to take a higher perspective in something, to really see the far-reaching outcome of a thing. You know, being on the plateau allows you to see so far out into the expanse. And I think that also that's part of like the whole into the void. It's allowing you to take a really big look, a big picture perspective of what can happen if you make these changes. And then we have Fire. It's time to purge, seriously. It's time to get rid of some things. And I think it's also time to tap into that creative energy that you have at your disposal right now. Final card here. Ocean. I think it's time to get back to who you are. Who is the real you underneath the surface? Who is the real you before all of your experiences? Who is the real you? And really ask yourself, how am I not myself? It's one of my favorite lines from My Heart Huckabees. Cracks me up, but it actually is a pretty deep thought to have. Really ask yourself, how am I not myself? And in what ways have I really done myself a disservice? I think if you can do that, and if you can tackle these like difficult energies that are in your life right now, you will come out on the other side with so much more than you had before. All right, Pisces, thank you for joining me. That is going to be the energy for the first 2 weeks of April, 1st through the 15th. Stay tuned. I'm going to have a lot more content that I'm going to be uploading onto this channel. And yeah, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.